Hi, welcome back to the Real Good Times podcast. I'm Amanda,
I'm Shane.
and today we wanted to talk about two recent movies that just came out, Inside Out 2 and Bikeriders.
Yeah, we both saw both of them this week. Two very different movies, but I think both ones that we both enjoyed.
Yeah, these are ones we have been waiting to see, especially with a lot of releases coming out that we weren't super excited for. So, yeah, we were super excited to see these ones, and Um, they were both pretty okay, but we'll get into it and tell you guys our thoughts and opinions.
I guess we should probably start with the Bikeriders. That's the one that's the freshest in my mind.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
So for me, I thought it was pretty good. I was expecting more, I think. It's not to say it was like underwhelming. I just wasn't really sure what the story was going to be, so I thought it was going to be a bit more intense, but it was kind of just more of like a free flowing plot of these characters over the course of a couple years. Um, Pretty good performances by everyone, especially I think Tom Hardy. Austin Butler was good, but he just didn't really say a lot. It was mostly just his character, wasn't really his acting that made me
Yeah.
invested.
He wasn't even really in it that much, as like they put him in it in the trailers and stuff, which I was surprised to see. I gave it 3.5 stars, and you gave it three.
I gave it three. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very middle of the road. I think not bad, but nothing I'm gonna remember for the rest of my life. I don't think.
It was very dad cinema, which we both said when
Yeah,
we got out. We said that it was a movie that we would recall being like, "Oh, I watched this with my dad on a random night after school." One of those kind of movies.
something you see playing on FX all the time.
Yeah. To me, it gave very like The Outsiders, but like bike riders. Does that make sense?
I feel like they were bike riders and the outsiders, so they
Oh,
were
were they?
they were greasers. So kind of
Yeah.
like
I don't know. It gave me
same
the
thing.
same vibe because it's kind of like found family tragedy, like what they do kills them, sort of thing.
Yeah, and I saw a lot of people compare it to Goodfellas, which is kind of accurate, and like just
Yeah.
taking out the mob and replacing it with bike riding gang. Even though they're not really a gang, like they're not doing any illegal activities, they're just kind of like hanging out.
Yeah. The first thing that stood out to me when it first started was her accent in it. The main girl, Kathy's
Yeah,
accent wasn't, in my opinion, very good. But
a lot of the accents are
and
pretty
sh
wild.
yeah, and she's like the main character. Like she does the talk, like literally like 90% of the talking in the movie, and her accent wasn't good. Also, Mike Face was in it, which we both were like, "What?"
I remember
That was kind
hearing
of
he
weird.
was in it, and then I forgot because I didn't really know who he was before we saw Challengers.
Yeah.
So I forgot the name Mike Face was attached to it, and then he popped up. I was like, "Oh, it's that guy." You didn't think Tom Hardy's accent was goofy?
It wasn't terrible. It was better than uh her accent, but it wasn't like terrible. It was better. But
Yeah,
also like I don't watch Tom Hardy movies, so like I don't know like I feel like if you're a big Tom Hardy fan, which I know a lot of people are, then it's kind of weird to like see him talk like that. But
well,
I literally don't know.
he's always doing some dumbass voice like Bane or even
True.
his Venom accent. He's doing an American accent, but it sounds like goofy because
Yeah.
he's actually British. I haven't seen Duke so I don't know what he sounds like in that, but I'm sure it's goofy there too.
I don't think he talks much in Dunkirk.
Mm, well, there you go.
I don't remember, so probably not.
Um, it looked pretty nice. There's a lot of like playing with shadows that I thought made it look very cool. But yeah, it was just like an average time at the movies. Nothing super crazy, which is a little disappointing because I had it as one of my most anticipated of the year.
Yeah, me too.
So I was expecting to like it a lot more. But it was okay. It's nothing I'm too upset about.
Another thing is that I wish Norman Reedus was in it more. I really liked his character, and he was like barely in it, like genuinely barely in it. But
Yeah,
the pieces that he was in it, I was like, oh, I really like him in this.
he was
Like
basically
it's
the cameo
yeah, it's perfect fit for a nasty ass, gross bike rider fiend freak.
fiend. Yeah,
I don't know.
he looked like a fiend. His teeth in
Yeah,
it. I liked all the side characters. They really added to like
yeah,
the feeling of like a big family.
like a found family. I love anything that's like found family, and that's why I think it reminds me a lot of The Outsiders. Like it's very like found family. They all have little nicknames, and
Yeah, no one
that's
uses
like
them
where they
anymore.
go. Yeah, to like hang out, and it was such a man movie. Like it's just man. If I could describe this movie in one word, it would be man. Just men. Men being men.
Yeah. Um we're not from the Midwest, but it was very one of the most Midwestern movies I've ever seen. The crazy ass accents and the just very Chicago vibes. So I'm sure this will do well there. But
Yeah.
I don't really have too much more to say about it because it wasn't
Yeah.
super. Yeah, it was just
It was
average.
just
You know, that's
mid.
about all I was looking for. Yeah,
Yeah.
mid sounds harsher, but yeah, it's pretty middle of the
It's
road.
like just middle. Yeah.
So
Yep.
we can move on to Inside Out 2,
Which we
which
saw
we
Tuesday.
saw, yeah, Tuesday. This is doing pretty well right now. I don't know if it's the number one movie of the year yet, but I think it's gonna get pretty. It's gonna be that.
Which I don't think it deserves it, but I understand why. Like it's a big kids movie, obviously, like a kids movie, and it's summer, and like people want something to do with their kids, movies, kids. But I don't think it is like should be performing as like number one movie of the year. But that's just because I gave it 3 stars. Shane
I gave
also gave it three
I
stars,
gave it
right?
three. I thought I gave it 3.5.
No, you gave it three, I think, right?
No, I changed it to 3.5
Oh,
because I thought about
okay.
it a little bit more and I liked it a little bit more.
Hmm. You liked it more than Bikeriders.
Yeah, I would
Hmm.
say so.
That's interesting.
I just thought the story was more engaging for
Meh.
sure.
I feel like I caught myself looking at the time more in Inside Out than I did in Bikeriders, and that's like a telltale sign for me. Like if I'm like looking at my phone trying to see what time it is, trying to calculate how much longer we have left, then I'm like not really
Well, that's how
into
I
it.
felt in like the last third of Bike Riders. I was like, how long is this movie? But Inside Out flew by for me. I thought it moved along pretty briskly.
Yeah, it was
Um,
cute. I mean, yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of the original Inside Out. I think
See,
they're on.
and I like the original Inside Out. So,
Hmm. I
and I
guess that.
don't think that they're on the same level. I think I hate sequels that aren't like I don't know. What am I trying to say? I hate sequels that are like so blatantly cash grabby. Like I hate it. It's my biggest pet peeve in anything. Books, movies, whatever. Like it literally like makes me like infuriated. And I think that's what this was. I mean, it was done well, which is hard to do. But it was done well. And so I can't really complain too much about it.
I didn't see it as cash grab because I feel like with the premise of Inside Out, it just naturally lends to a sequel because you can keep coming back to points in Riley's life to see how her
Well,
emotions
yeah,
are.
but we don't necessarily need. I mean, every sequel that's cash grabby, they can find a way to run it, but it doesn't mean we necessarily needed it. I mean, it was cool, and the new emotions, like seeing new emotions, was cool, and it was done well. So, but I do still think the first one is the best.
Well, what specifically didn't you like about it? What I'll give you is I do feel like it wasn't probably as funny as the first one,
I
and
don't know. Yeah.
I do think it was like kind of predictable to see where it was going with anxiety.
Yeah, I feel like it was just predictable and yeah. I don't know. It's the same thing as Inside Out, the first one. It's just like the joy show. Like it kind of makes me mad. Like I don't know. But in this one, like seeing it again was kind of annoying. I feel like in this one they try to make like the other original emotions kind of be more part of it, but it still felt like the joy show. And so like I don't know.
Well, that
Which
was
obviously
something I liked because last time it was just joy and sadness, and now this time it seems like it was going to be like all the original core emotions together, but then they kind of immediately send sadness back.
yeah. But
So
and they didn't really have that many like things. It was like all joy. Yeah. That's how I felt, like it was like the joy show. But I liked Anxiety and I liked it was funny and like clever. Like some of the things that they did were very, very clever. Like when Riley's trying to figure out how to swing her arms because she starts thinking about how she
yeah,
looks when
that was
she's
funny.
walking. That's funny and like it makes me feel like I've never had an original thought ever because like that's so spot on. Um the dark secret and like the suppressed emotions in jail was also super clever. There are some other things that I thought was super clever.
The
Um,
brainstorm.
yeah, the brainstorm was cool. The job fair, like that was cool.
Oh yeah,
Um,
this
the
is a
control room for anxiety, that was super cool. And like having it them draw up uh conclusions, like draw like jumping to conclude basically that's what they were like
oh
showing was like drawing conclusions out of nowhere that were making Riley anxious even though that would never happen. Like they were like so far off the beaten path of like what could ever happen. I thought that was super clever. Some of the things were just like funny because they were clever, which I really liked.
yeah. I didn't think any of the characters were unfunny. I thought everyone got some pretty good lines. I like the thing with Pouchy.
Pouchy was funny. I feel like that was like a nod to parents who brought their kids. I don't know. You know, like Mickey
Yeah,
Mouse, which I know little kids still watch Mickey Mouse, but um I really liked all the new ones too. I liked Embarrassment. He was super cute. I feel like Envy really got like no screen time. Same with Boredom. They were kind of just like
ennui.
thrown aside for a little bit. Um but
I I
still,
I see that with boredom. I think envy was a
yeah.
good like little sidekick to anxiety.
Yeah, I guess.
I did like how there's like a connection between sadness and embarrassment. Like how there's also kind of like a connection between
Yeah.
fear and anxiety. Like fear had a
Yeah, they
crush
were,
on
like,
anxiety.
connecting them. Like, obviously in the first one, sadness and joy, even though they kind of really don't go together, but in this one, they really, like, had, like yeah, like you said, envy and
And fear.
anxiety, embarrassment, and yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I gave it 3.5 because it wasn't like mesmerizing or anything. I
Yeah. Like, some of the other Pixar movies have a much deeper meaning, I feel like Soul, let's just say, throwing that out
yeah.
there. Um this one like had a meaning, but like also is just there for cutie and you know
Do you think I feel like this was more for um
adults.
a, not necessarily adults, but not necessarily for like young kids.
Yeah, because they don't really know what like
Anxiety even
true
is,
anxiety is.
and the
Yeah,
whole message really is like
once you grow up, you
you
lose
feel less
joy.
joy. Yeah,
Yeah, that was good, but also like
that was the one part that I didn't tear up, but it did make me feel like, oh, that's kind of
I
like
was like, damn.
that's a little bit too real.
I started thinking about all the bills.
I was like,
Yeah,
yeah, they're not lying. Telling some
yeah.
hard truths to these kids.
Which I also, it's like I wish that was more a part of it. You know, like besides that one line. Like I guess subliminally it was there, but also I don't know. Like Soul, like they really hit you hard.
Yeah, that's probably their most adult movie is Soul.
Yeah,
That one I don't think really is for kids at all. Or kids
yeah.
can watch it, but that one I think is the one
Like they
that's
just
most.
won't understand it as like
Yeah,
much.
it
They
won't
won't.
tickle
The
your feet.
surface level will be there for them, but
And that's how I kind of feel about this one. Like they'll like the colors and get like the
the
main
jokes, yeah.
the main thing that like if you're feeling anxious, you can take a breath. But I feel it's mostly directed to people who have already gone through this experience of like going through puberty and dealing with all that. Do you have anything else about Inside Out too?
um, I don't think so. I thought it was pretty also middle of the road
Um,
Pixar movie.
well, we're about halfway through 2024 with movies. What's the best thing you've seen this year?
Definitely Challengers. Like I
Not
don't even have to look
not
at the
Dune
list
Part
of
Two.
movies. Nope. It's definitely Challengers. Doom Part 2 is good, but I could like rewatch Challengers and rewatch it and rewatch it. I feel like Dune, you like see it and then you don't really need to rewatch it for a while. But like Challengers, I could watch it like a bunch of times.
You're telling me it's
It's
not Mean Girls?
addicting, huh?
You're telling me it's not Mean Girls?
Nah.
Yeah, Challengers is definitely the best so far, but we still have a lot to get through.
While we're on the topic of Pixar, I'm not the hugest Pixar fan, so we thought it would be fun to do a this or that with the Pixar movies. Um, because I am not a huge fan, and so this might be shocking to some people. And it's fun, so why not?
I'm a huge fan of Pixar, or at least um used to be. They kind of gone through a slump recently. Disney as a whole has been in a slump, which is
Yeah, I
why
feel like older Pixar, like Pixar that came out when I was a kid, is good. But I feel like over the years they just started reusing the same like plot line, not plot line, but like I guess storyline. And although it's like you can't really see it at a first glance, I feel like that it's still very there. You just kind of have to like really really look for the same thing. But that's why I don't like it. But anyways, doesn't even matter. So, Brave or A Bug's Life.
um I guess A Bug's Life. Neither of those are really two of my favorites, but
Yeah, I was trying to do like bad ones.
Brave is like
Really
definitely
bad.
the most boring one.
It's just
Or
cringe.
the trailers presented it like it was going to be like this cool action movie, which was cool. I remember seeing that and I was kind of like excited for it. Then I watched it and it's just like it's basically like Brother Bear, but in Scotland instead of
Yeah.
Alaska.
Yeah. What does she say? She goes, I have the right to something. Every time I think of that movie, that's the only thing I think of.
That
I have
was
the
the
right to something.
that was the
Bear.
whole start of the girl boss trend.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was like right after Katniss, I think.
Because she also doesn't have a prince, right?
No, that's her
Like at
whole
all.
thing is that she doesn't want to get
Yeah.
married.
So it's like that was like the start of like Frozen not having the prince and Moana and all that. I feel like that was the start of that.
Yeah, I don't know any like.
Also, she's the only Pixar Disney princess, and
Yeah,
that's saying something and why she's like one of the least favorite
I
princesses.
was
I
about
feel
to
like
say, what little girl's favorite princess is Merida from
probably
Brave?
like redhead little girls. Honestly,
I don't even think
I feel
that.
like little girls always like princesses that remind me them of themselves.
Well, they would probably just
Scottish
prefer
girls.
Ariel.
Oh, true. You're right. Okay, then like Scottish girls.
Okay, little Scottish girls.
Yeah.
So like 0.5%,
Well,
I guess.
there's something out there for everyone.
Yeah, Bug's Life because of the show at Animal Kingdom.
Bugs Life scared the fuck out of me as a kid. The bad guy,
The grasshopper.
yeah, I was literally scared
His name was
shitless of him.
Hopper.
I was scared like that bugs like were gonna get big. Like genuinely, like especially grasshoppers. Like I was terrified of him. And like, has his little like doesn't he make like a noise? Like a you know what I'm talking
Probably.
about?
I haven't
That
seen it.
scared me.
I haven't
You've
seen
never
it in a
seen
long
it?
time. I've seen it,
Oh.
but not in a long time.
Yeah, Bugs Life really, really scared me. And
And
the animation style in it also really terrifies
yeah,
me.
it was their second ever movie, and they didn't have like the animation down yet. In Toy Story, it works because the toys are plastic. With the bugs, it kind of like doesn't. They look very weird. Have you seen Ants?
um, it sounds familiar.
That was
Ants.
the whole controversy because I think that was DreamWorks' first
Oh,
animated
yeah.
movie,
I think I have seen that.
and they were like released like either the same year, yeah, the same year, and it was like, well, who stole the idea from who?
Yeah. That one scared me too, I'm pretty sure. I don't like bugs either, so maybe that's where my fear of bugs developed.
Ants and Bugs
Ants in
Life.
a bug's life.
Yeah, Bugs Life for that one. No contest,
That's valid.
really. Okay, I'll give you a this or that. Um, Wally or Up?
Ooh, these are some of my favorites. But I think I have to go with Up because I'm pretty sure that's my favorite Pixar movie. But while that's like really hard
That's
because
a tough
Wally's
one.
also really good. But Up is probably my favorite Pixar movie, to be honest. It's just so
It's
good.
up
I
there.
also think I don't know for sure because I don't have a good memory, but I want to say that that was the first movie I saw in theaters. It's definitely the first movie I saw in 3D, but
I also saw it in
I
3D. Remember
I
that?
can't remember if that I think it was the first movie. It's the first movie I remember consciously going to at the movie theater. So maybe that's why I love it so much. Also like dogs. Like I'm a
Yeah.
huge sucker for anything with a dog in it, especially a
Especially
talking
a
one.
golden retriever.
Yeah, especially a talking one. That's my shit growing up.
Talking
So,
dogs.
yeah. And the soundtrack is literally gas. And
Do
it's
you remember?
sad and it's
Do you remember if
perfect.
you cried the first time at the
I think
opening?
I cried when like he started didn't he like beat one of his dogs like with this like cane or something?
I don't
I don't
think
know if I remember that, but
you
I
talking about
think
the bad guy.
yeah.
I don't think he beat them. I think he like yelled at them,
I
or he
think
like
I just got really upset at that.
he said like Doug was a bad dog.
Oh my god, when Doug is like fucking so sad that he got called a bad dog. Like I
Mhm.
actually can't
He
do
has to
that.
wear the cone of shame.
It's so bad. It's so sad. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't remember crying in the theater, but I'm sure I've cried when watching it before because
you
I've
cried.
watched it more than once.
You cried thinking about it on the way home. You broke down. I would also say up for that just because I haven't even seen Wally all the way through. To be honest, we
Wally.
we
That one
watched
was
the
one of my
first
favorites.
half
Yeah.
together, and it was really good. But I've also heard that like it drops off in the second half with like the fat humans.
The Fat Humans is just funny. Like Wally was ahead of its time, honestly.
It's
Yeah,
too
Wally was one of my favorites as a kid.
it's too real. I tried to
It
watch it when I
is.
was a kid, and I didn't like it because no one was talking.
Yeah, I can see that. I feel like that's why I wouldn't watch
But
it as frequently now. But when I was a kid, I liked it.
but now when we watched the first half of it, I appreciated it more. But when I was a kid, I thought it was boring, so I turned it
It's just
off.
so cute. It's so sweet, little
Yeah,
robots. And Wally's just
Wally's
so
cute.
lovable. Yeah.
Yeah, Up's definitely one of the better ones. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, um, but yeah, it's really good. I honestly think it's a little bit like overrated, to be honest, just by a tad, just because everyone props up like the first 10 minutes. Um, I don't
I
think
just love it. Also, wait, sorry, I started thinking about the whole plot, and I was thinking about how he like took the little boy under his wing, and like they're counting the blue and red cars at the
I
end.
do
Like
like
that's
that.
so fucking cute. That's
That's
so cute.
I like that's what I like in movies is like that's also like found family,
Yeah.
but specifically like an old man and little boy.
Oh, and then Doug Days. If you've never watched the little shorts on Disney Channel, you have to watch them. If you're a dog lover, you have to watch Doug Days because it's the cutest thing ever. Okay. Anyways, talked about Up for like way too long. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna give you Ratatouille or Toy Story 2. That's the one you like, right? Toy Story 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
Ratatouille or Toy Story 2?
well, to me those are both 5 stars, but I'm gonna have to go with Ratatouille. I think that's the number one Pixar movie. That's one of like probably my second favorite animated movie in general, up there with like my favorite overall movies. It's just like it's the best looking movie, I think, for sure. The music is the best. And just that's another one where I feel like the message is more for adults, about finding your purpose and how like creativity can come from anywhere, and also that like some people
And
like
also that
not anyone can be a great cook, but a great cook can come from anywhere.
and also that you have to have a little rat controlling your mind in order to be successful.
Well,
That's the true message.
maybe we all do have a little rat controlling our mind.
I would probably also pick Ratatouille. I don't like either. Okay, I like Ratatouille, but I don't really like Toy
Ah, bruh,
Story.
you
I don't like
boy.
any of the Toy Stories. I like Toy Story 3 a little bit.
That's the
That's the one with the Lotso, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I like that one. It made me sad though. Like Lotso made me really sad when I was a kid when I watched that. I don't really
You
like Toy Story, but I do like Ratatouille, but it's I don't understand the hype around it, I guess.
think you need to
Cuz it
rewatch
is
it.
it's very very overhyped. Like definitely,
Nah,
but it's good, but not my favorite.
I I just don't see like any flaws in it. To be honest, it's like a perfect movie to me from beginning to end.
It also made me scared of rats
Why? What? They didn't even do anything. They're the
cuz it's
good guys.
gross. Like oh, I like the part where the old lady's trying to shoot him. That's funny. That's a good one.
That's also another one that came out like almost the same time as the DreamWorks one. Like Flushed Away came out right
Yeah,
around the time of that,
someone was definitely working for the inside of one of them.
and The Wild in Madagascar,
Yeah, someone was definitely there and
or
feeding ideas, and they're like, "Let's get to this."
Fishtail and Finding Nemo.
Yeah, Fishtails. Ooh, that's a good one. That's not even
Oh,
Pixar, but that's a good movie.
that's a no. That's a bad one. Will Fish. But yeah, definitely Ratatouille. But I do love Toy Story 2 especially. I like all the music in that's really good, and I like in that one like it's the first time Buzz and Woody are actually friends Because the first one, they're just like beefing the whole
They
time.
all blur together to me. Like I couldn't tell you what goes on from 1, 2, and then 4 or 3. I forgot 3 and 4. Well, 3 I kind of know because of Lotto. Like that's literally like what helps me remember the plot in that one. But the other ones, they literally just like obviously the first one's like introduction and all that, but like the
Two's
1
the
and 2
one
kind
with
of blend together.
Jesse and
The
Bullseye.
tinkerer, the guy that fixes
Yeah,
them.
the most satisfying scene in movie history when he like
I don't know about
restores
that.
him.
He's fucking gross.
I don't, I don't
I
like the
don't think
old
that's
guy.
satisfying at all.
Well, the old guy isn't satisfying, but when he's like cleaning him up,
But he's like got his like eye in the glass and stuff. I don't think that's
it's like
satisfying.
licking his chops.
Yeah, I think we both have different definitions of satisfying.
That movie has a really gross scene. You probably don't remember it since they blur together to you, but he's like the fat guy is asleep on the couch.
Oh, and he has like cheese it dust on
He
his
has like cheese
fingers.
dust all over his fingers, and the horse starts
Is that
licking
what you're
his
talking about?
fingers.
It's gross. And
And
then
then
doesn't he like
he
start
like
dreaming?
no, he burps in Woody's face, and it's like a really wet burp.
That's
It's like
gross.
one of
Yeah,
those like
that's why I didn't like Toy Story. Toy Story was for the boys, and I no.
well, that's why
Toy
they
Story
put
is literally
Jessie
for
on
the
there.
boys. Well, she's annoying. She's like a pick me. Okay, anyways.
All right, I'll give you two. Finding Nemo or Monsters Inc.
Ew. Monsters Inc. for sure. Finding Nemo's good, but Monsters Inc. is better.
Yeah,
I love Monsters Inc.
that's a hard one.
That's definitely a hard one, but as a kid I don't really think I remember liking Nemo as much as I liked Monsters Inc. Now I love Nemo, but as a kid I really fucked with Monsters Inc. It's just so good. Mike Wazowski.
Finding Nemo was one of the ones I watched a lot as a kid, but I think that was just because we had that on DVD. We didn't have Monsters Inc. for whatever reason.
Yeah. Also, Randall. Okay, this is like obviously a reoccurring theme, and I probably need to be checked on as a kid. But Randall scared the fuck out of me in Monsters Inc. Like the
It sounds
scene,
like you're just sensitive.
the scene where they're hiding in the bathroom and he's like fucking punching the doors open. That gives me anxiety every single time. And I know that he doesn't find them. And the fact that he can go invisible, and I'm like, y'all don't care that he could be right. Like, yeah, he scared me a lot as a kid. Clearly had some issues.
Did the spider guy scare you?
No. Oh yeah, at the end. At the end when he's bad. Yeah. I'm like, ew. Everything about that movie is just so funny.
The ending makes me too sad. When he has to say goodbye to Boo.
Yeah.
I don't like
But it's
that.
just so perfect. It's just so good. It's like Grumpy Sunshine arc. The first Grumpy Sunshine arc actually. They paved the way.
What about um uh the fact that Mike Wazowski is Harry from When Harry Met Sally?
That will never ever he will never ever not be Mike Wazowski. And that's why when I watched When Harry Met Sally, I can't. I can't get over the fact that he does the same voice. It
That's
would
just
be okay if he didn't. That's literally just his voice. Like they were like he was like probably auditioning and they were like, "You know what? You're perfect." And then he was probably like, "Well, I didn't even do the voice yet." And they were like, "Actually, no. You're perfect like that." But like that's just the weirdest part cuz like I don't know though cuz the guy that plays Sully also is just his voice.
yeah, John
So,
Goodman.
yeah. But like I don't know. Mike Wazowski, that's such a distinct voice. That poor man.
Poor man.
That's a bad voice.
No.
Yes, it's like silly. Come on, it's a silly
Well, that's why,
voice.
well, it's silly, but it's not a bad voice. That's why he's a comedian. He took what
Yeah,
God
because
gave
he's
him.
silly. It's bad. Imagine like imagine from a girl's point of view. I don't know how he bagged Sally in When Harry Met Sally because it's definitely really weird.
He's funny. It's the Pete Davidson effect, the Adam Sandler effect, if you will.
No, he doesn't
Uh,
have an effect.
apparently, he was supposed to play Buzz, and he turned
In
it
the new?
down.
Oh, Just
and he's
in all of them?
like in the original Toy Story, they offered
Mm.
the role of Buzz to him, but he turned it down, and then he said that
Who?
was Mike Wazowski.
Oh,
He said that
Billy
was one
Crystal. Or
his
Bill
career's
is it Billy or Bill Crystal? It's Billy
Billy
Crystal.
Crystal.
Yeah, that would be bad. That
Yeah, that wouldn't
crossover would
work.
not work.
He said it was
He'd
one of
have
the
to do
biggest
a manly
regrets.
voice.
So he, as soon as they offered him this one, he jumped on it.
True. Okay, I have one more for you.
Okay.
I'm gonna do Luca and Soul because those are kind of new ones, and I know you
Yeah.
like both.
I would say Soul.
Really,
Yeah, Luca is a very fun, like,
I love Luca so much.
yeah, it's very pretty and it's like very fun, low stakes, like a little kid's adventure.
Yeah, Soul
Very
just hits
Call Me by Your
hard.
Name. Yeah, Soul is just like,
I feel
again,
like,
like the whole thing about purpose and legacy.
yeah, I feel like I wouldn't have liked Luca as a kid. Like if I watched it as a kid, it wouldn't have been one of my favorites. But watching it now, because it came out now, I liked it. I feel like
Yeah,
as a kid I wouldn't have liked it because it's boys and like boyish and stuff, but I think it's super cute. I think that they did really good on it. It's fun.
yeah, it's also like the most different looking out of all of them.
Yeah.
It's the only one that really has its own unique art style.
Yeah.
All the other ones like kind of look the same. But yeah, Luca is like they almost look like they're made out of like clay, kind of.
Yeah. They look
So
like Funko Pops. Does that make sense? I guess Luca really looks like a Funko Pop, but maybe the other ones don't.
it's also the one that has like um uh maybe the most like out there um messaging because officially it's not like a gay
Oh
movie,
yeah, but it is.
but it is. The
Yeah.
theme
The
about being
signs are
scared to
there.
be who you really are and focuses on two boys,
And like, yeah.
and it's very like associated with Call Me by Your Name.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, come on, you're not fooling nobody. So I do like that. It's one of it's the only one that kind of comes close to any kind of messages that are that deep.
Yeah.
I guess different. But yeah, I would say Soul just because I feel like it's has a better message, or the themes I think are more engaging, and I think that's probably where we're gonna end the podcast for this week. Um, Thank y'all for listening. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Real Good Times Pod. Also, subscribe to us on YouTube. We post there as well. And we'll be back next week. Thank y'all for listening.